Welcome back to Thailand ChitChat. Today we have a Paddy Report live in the studio with Craig McAvenny. We're going to be talking about what's happening down in Pattaya, basically the changes in the infrastructure, what's happening in tourism, etc., and some events coming up. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. If you'd like to like the show and also pass some comments, it'd be much appreciated. So Craig, what's happening down in Pattaya?
Yeah, well, as you know, it's coming up to the high season now. I mean, traditionally, the end of October and the beginning of November marks the transition between the low season and the high season. At this moment in time, I wouldn't say I'm noticing a massive difference from what it's been like of times, but fingers crossed that moving forward we will, see a big influx of tourists.
So with the rain, has things really affected people? I mean, probably a better question, what sort of nationalities are coming down to Pattaya at the moment?
I mean, at the moment, I think obviously, of course, you have the local domestic tourism. I mean, the last weekend was a long weekend, and that would have been predominantly, Thais that were coming up for the long weekend. Again, traditionally, with the high season coming, being the winter in Europe and the States, then of course we'd expect the people that come for the extended breaks over there. Mm-hmm. And I guess something I don't know much about, but the Chinese market, one would have thought this year we would expect an increase in that, because I think last year they were still under restrictions when it came to travel. Whereas this year, I believe that everything's back to normal, so to speak, with Chinese. So at the moment, it's still looking very much like low season from what I can see. A lot of the bars and restaurants still seem, fairly empty. But as I say, all being well, and I've travelled quite a lot myself recently, actually. I've had to travel to Vietnam for business, and I've had to travel to Europe both for business and for some personal stuff. And one thing I would say is that I've noticed that in Suvarnabhumi, and I know you've been away as well, the immigration has been a breeze. Have you found that as well?
Well, compared to what the reports were before, with queues going right down to the sort of concourse, it was an awful lot quicker. But they're still miserable bastards. When you go, it's like I get questions. They start questioning me. And, very unusual.
So I'm wondering.
But in saying that, the answer to the question, I'm just whinging. Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just found it's been really, really well organised, and you've been through, before your bags have arrived and all that type of thing. So I'm just wondering, obviously when we do have this uplift in numbers, that's something which is always crucial. I always think it's very important, especially for first time travellers to a country. That first experience is a good one, an efficient one, and a fast one.
Well, actually, when you say that, I was in Vietnam and Da Nang on some business, and we were going through immigration. And there was compared to Bangkok, the queues were humongous.
Oh, so it can be a nightmare in Saigon. I mean, I travel there all the time, and sometimes, as you say, you're talking like 45 minutes to an hour to get through. Yeah. So again, that was a good comparison, because when I came back to Thailand, I was pleasantly surprised about how quickly we went through. So I mean, we sort of, I suppose it all feeds into this question of when people are coming down to Pattaya. Obviously, you're looking at overseas visitors coming. Yes, of course, the China market, the Russia market, I think has been quite prevalent all throughout the low season as well.
Yes.
So whether that has a bump up, or whether that
they're giving a 90-day visa for the Russians.
Correct.
And also an extension for Chinese and is it Kazakhstan?
Well, I think it might be a couple of them actually, but Uzbekistan possibly as well.
They're extending that. But like everything else, the rain. I was reading something, and basically they were saying that the beaches in Pattaya and Jomtien were busy. But I must give credit. The improvement in the Jomtien beach, where they extended it, is great, and they've been attracting a lot of youth there. So there's going out. There's some complaints about noise and things like that, but they're having parties and things like that, sitting out on the beach and having a few drinks. So it seems to be quite vibrant. What about the rejuvenation of Pattaya? Have you seen that? Because they're building up to the high season. So the roadworks, there was terrible roadworks. Of course, the rain has always been a disaster in Pattaya in certain areas where it's totally flooded.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean that, and that obviously hampers things with the when the weather's been as sort of the rain's been as torrential as it has been. I don't know really. I think the jury's out when it comes to how efficient these roadworks and this sort of thing is. I know, for instance, like one of the roads in central Pattaya, just off Soi Buakhao, near where my office is, Soi Buakhao 15. That was a complete, building site for many, many months. And right now, it's the first time we've been able to walk down it. And I think on Second Road there as well, which is a very, prominent thoroughfare for people, when they are back in Pattaya in their hordes, when there's lots of people, that needs to be ready to go by the time.
Is it anywhere near that?
I'm trying to think. No, I don't. It's difficult to know because, to me, I'm no obviously expert in this business, but the one in 15 looked like it was a complete, bomb site and didn't have a finishing date. And then 1 minute you turn up there and it's done,
Right.
So, I really don't know how it works.
I think there's been because we've had the elections finalised, even in my area in Lad Prao, the canal was being done and it suddenly stopped. And then once the election was through and the government was in, that means it's going to release the budgets and the money because nobody knows when to have their, the sign off. Quite possibly. And that's maybe why everything is just suddenly ramped up again because, our area is nearly finished.
Yeah, quite possibly. I really don't know. Obviously, around Pattaya, I suppose you need to make sure that the efficiency of the roads and the infrastructure is in place for the high season because, of course, ultimately it's a tourist destination. Sukhumvit Road is always going to have some kind of issues. There's always going to be some area that's going to need some kind of work doing. So I'm not 100% sure where we're at with that, but fingers crossed, as you say, that if we do get an influx of tourists, that it's not countered with a big traffic problem.
What about as a destination? Have you seen the an improvement of let's say the beach road, so it's more classy because we're talking about trying to make it the Riviera. Has there any changes, or even in Walking Street, they're making changes there? They had closed down a lot of places.
I've not been to Walking Street for some time, so I can't really comment on that.
Is there a feeling of upgrade?
I think,
and less seedy?
I think, it's not so much the seedy side because they were kind of trying to push that back from the beach some time ago. And of course, as we all know, this was happening. COVID came along, of course. Pattaya became this wonderful, gloriously fantastic looking location once again, where the sea turned a nice bright blue and the beach sand went a nice golden colour, which was wonderful. And then I guess when COVID started to come to an end, it was just about sort of getting back to what we know, Right. So I wouldn't say there's been any massive change. I know longer term, certainly having that Riviera feel and possibly more pedestrianising and that type of thing, and utilising possibly some kind of monorail or trains or something like that is still in the pipeline, I'm guessing. But COVID happened, and I guess people are just focusing on getting what they understand done first now, and then again these sort of projects will hopefully happen, but probably been set back by a couple of years.
I think also Pattaya's got a bad rap, unfairly, I think, about security. Now, obviously, you hear about the Chinese being scared coming here because they might get kidnapped or whatever it is by other Chinese, not by Thai, which is very few and far between, but it's reported upon. And then you hear about some guy at 4 o'clock in the morning having a problem or whatever it is, and it is very, very rare these situations happen,
especially compared to Europe and UK,
and
the States.
So they're looking at putting, they call a robust safety strategy, will be implemented, including enhanced traffic safety with increased penalties for violations. Well, there's the catch-up money from COVID. Particularly for bat bus drivers. And then also managing the parking areas. So there is an effort to try and improve the environment, but from the safety side, I think it's some just idiots out there drunk causing a problem, because all the reports you get are generally, this happened at 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
And in all honesty, they're usually pretty benign compared to what happens in other parts of the world. Somebody gets something robbed, their wallet robbed at 4 o'clock in the morning when they're drunk. hey ho, there's a lot worse things going on
Yeah,
in other
yeah,
parts
yeah.
of the world than that. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that sounds just like a bit of rhetoric to me from the, you know, from the, whatever it is, the mayor's office, whoever's coming out with that, because it's not a dangerous place, and these things you allude to about Chinese being kidnapped and all the rest of it. I mean, that's all.
That was Bangkok.
Criminal gang stuff and that, you know.
Yes.
There's nothing to do with the everyday tourist. So yeah, I mean, Pattaya is a safe place, and I suppose, yeah, they need to just find ways to make people understand that and be comfortable with that. And,
That's right. That's right.
that's possibly why they're doing this.
So, events, what's coming up? You had one interesting topic, event that's coming up.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there for it, unfortunately, because I'm away. But the Bikini Run on Saturday, I believe it's this coming Saturday, which is the 28th of October. So
you're not wearing your bikini for a run? No?
Well, that certainly, I probably wouldn't be allowed in, but obviously there are plenty of people that are a lot more aesthetically pleasing than myself wearing bikinis, and I'm sure it's a great fun day out. And I'm actually not too sure on how it all works. Obviously, it's a run. I don't know how long it goes. It's on the beach. It's called the Pattaya Bikini Beach Run. Yeah. So I presume it's on the beach, and one would hope it would be, you know, full of ladies, no doubt. A few of our
and a few
gender,
boys, yeah.
Our third gender mates will also be there as well. But hopefully, it's not. Not gonna.
Which gender would that be? The A, B, C, non-binary?
Well,
I'm a bit confused.
I think the beauty of over here
Better
is
just call it Bikini
they're
Run.
more than happy to be called lady boys, aren't they? You know, there's none of this kind of political stuff that goes on. But either way, yeah, I mean, it will certainly be a spectacle, and I guess I've seen it before. I guess if you haven't seen it before, then you know, get yourself down there. Watch some bouncing boobies and you know, enjoy your day, as long as the weather's good.
So when is it?
Saturday the 28th.
Saturday the 28th.
Yeah,
okay.
Saturday, so,
all right. And then you've got some other events coming up, which is the fireworks festival between the November 24th, 25th, and that's a big event.
I mean,
you have to book your hotel well in advance for that.
I was just going to say that, and then also the rooftop restaurants which have the dinners. I mean, you know, I think, you know, they're charging sort of Bangkok plus prices. You're talking 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 baht for the, you know, for the meals at these places.
Wow.
And again, people are booking them, you know, sort of weeks or even months in advance, a bit like people do for New Year's, I suppose. That would be local market. That would be Bangkok market, I would imagine, that are doing that. And
but you can actually, there's other hotels behind that. You just come down. It's a standing room, or you have to pay an entrance, or you have to go to. There's a blocked off area.
The last couple of years, I'll be honest, I've avoided it. I mean, I've been in town once or twice for it. I'm not against fireworks, but I'm also not, you know, kind of like in a hurry to go and sort of watch them. So
we were brought up with Guy Fawkes every year for.
We are, yeah.
Kids.
I mean, it's a very busy time. Obviously, it's great for business. It's great for the city. So
how long is the show for each night?
Well, it's the Saturday and the Sunday, isn't it? And my understanding is it's some sort of competition. So, like, you know, one country has a go, and then another country has a go, and then they have like some sort of scoring system and sort of semi-finals and finals. Generally speaking, I think it runs from, obviously it needs to be dark, so sort of 7 o'clock through to sort of 10:30, I think.
All right, so it's about 3 hours.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
God, you get a crick in your neck. You have to, maybe that's where they can be selling the deck chairs without the umbrellas.
I think there's gaps in between them, like. But I mean, don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure on the schedule of it. But yeah, it's certainly you know, it's certainly, I think, again, possibly the biggest of its kind that's out there, and that's the 23rd, is it? 23rd and 24th?
24th and 25th.
Oh, 24th and 25th of November. Okay, so towards the end of November. So that's really getting right into the,
but it's
quite middle of the high season, yeah.
In the past, they were getting up to 400,000 people attending that. Wow. So that's, if you don't like crowds, find a building, just take your carry out and go to the top of the building. So, all right. So that, and also for the local economy, they were making up to 2 billion baht.
That's all
over that
news,
event.
Yeah. Well, so, long may it continue, as you say. It's a popular weekend.
So before that, we actually have the jazz festival with Kenny G as the headliner. And that's on the 10th and 11th of November, so not far away at all. So you can get tickets. And then there's one thing I thought was very interesting, which is between October 27th and November 5th, at the Terminal 21 Pattaya Shopping Centre, they have a 10-day culinary extravaganza partnership. It's in partnership with the Kru Kun Toi, a popular Thai food program. So there's going to be about 70 eateries there. So you're getting basically the best restaurants coming there to basically supply food. So you can buy that, obviously. They're not doing it for free.
Sure.
But that's a fantastic opportunity.
Yep, I'll pop down and have a look at that for sure. I mean, I think, as you say, one thing about this country is that, the food is, something that's wonderful and celebrated, and, long may that continue as well.
What's good about, not just here, when we do something with, we're doing a Ho Hen report, there's so much going on, there's something to do every weekend, some event. But certainly Pattaya and Ho Hen seem to have regular events to attract people, not just the local, but also the tourists, like that tourist could be local tourists, or it could be overseas. So so is there anything else you'd like to let us know about, or that's about it?
Not really, no. As I say, I think it's just say I'm hearing mixed reports from friends of mine in hospitality about their thoughts on whether or not this high season is going to be a boomer or whether it's not.
What do they feel?
Well, some feel that actually a lot of people kind of went and had their moment last year, when it was the first freedom of movement for Europeans and Australians and Americans, post-COVID. And so therefore you may not get quite as many coming for quite as long from that market. That said, as we mentioned before, China has, the largest market, and that's also one which is the first time that they're able to come. So I think we might see a few more sort of Chinese. Again, the Asian market as a whole. I mean, I'm a golfer, as you probably know, and I'm speaking to quite a few of the golf courses and the golf societies, and the courses from the 31st of October to what tips into the high season, the 1st of November. You're talking doubling the price of the green fees in some respect. I mean, we've had this before where you've seen
same for the clubs. So you've got the different golfing clubs that have arrangements with the different.
Well, they would negotiate their arrangement probably a month in advance. So therefore, I mean, they're certainly going to have to pay more, whether or not they can get that increase, a little bit less. But I believe a lot of that's driven again by the Asian markets. The Koreans and the Japanese, possibly the Chinese as well. I don't hear too much about Chinese golfers, but I'm sure they're out there. And China, certainly Korea and Japan. They're a much less price sensitive market, especially for tourists, because they're only there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to play golf. So therefore their price point is a lot higher than what we would get with, probably guys that are coming out for 3 to 4 months that want to play golf often. And of course, it's the locals that get squeezed as well. Just something which I think is quite a good gauge of Pattaya is, the kind of the golf courses, because it is a popular pastime. There are 25, 30 very good courses within a sort of 45-minute drive from central Pattaya. So, it's a market which is probably an interesting one in that these people that are playing golf are, fairly high value tourists, and are probably therefore eating in reasonable restaurants and that sort of thing as well. But just something that I sort of wanted to chuck in the mix there, really, which is relevant to the whatever. Well,
let's just hope that even the worldwide prices of flights, which have gone up extortionately, go back to the UK, that's certainly, and the other way, it's always cheaper. Flying from UK to here, it seems to be cheaper. But let's just hope that with all the sadness that is going on in the world with different conflicts, that doesn't affect the prices, and it can attract more people. Okay, so I think we've basically wound things up. Thank you very much for watching the show. Thank you, Craig, for coming into the studio.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back on the video link the next month. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you get any particular things you'd like to ask about, please let us know. We've already released some videos from some interviews in the past 2-3 weeks. I'll give the link at the end of this video so you can watch them. And we'll have another video coming up with Craig, which is all to do with the lovely topic of finance, and also to do with this January 1 tax for incoming money to Thailand. So that'll be coming up very, very soon. Okay, thanks very much again, and we'll speak to you later.